On the night of December 1, 2018, Auckland looked like any other city after dark. The streets were wet, the bars were busy, and thousands of people were out enjoying the weekend. Nothing about that night seemed unusual, at least, not yet. Somewhere in the middle of the city was Grace Millane, a 21-year-old traveler from Essex, England. She had recently finished university and was spending time exploring New Zealand on her own. To her family and friends, this trip was supposed to be the beginning of a new chapter. Grace had been staying in central Auckland, moving through the city like so many other young travelers do. She was independent, social, and by all accounts, comfortable meeting new people. That night, her belongings were left behind in the room where she was staying. And on her phone, she had been messaging someone she planned to meet. Later that evening, Grace left her accommodation and stepped out into the city. She was heading toward what, on the surface, looked like an ordinary first date. The kind of night that, for most people, would be forgotten by the next morning. She had arranged to meet a man she'd connected with on Tinder. At first, there was nothing obviously alarming about the meeting. They spent time together in central Auckland, moving through the city like any other couple on a casual night out. They talked, had drinks, and blended into the background of a busy urban weekend. From the outside, it looked normal. Completely normal. And that's part of what makes this case so unsettling. Because for most of that evening, it probably didn't feel dangerous at all. Later that night, Grace and her date left the venue together. They were seen walking through the Sky City area in central Auckland. Nothing in those moments suggested the night was about to turn into a murder investigation. On camera, it looked like a routine night in the city. Just two people walking. Eventually, the pair made their way to the City Life Hotel on Queen Street. Again, there was nothing dramatic in the footage. No obvious panic. No visible struggle. They entered the building like countless other people probably had that same night. And then, the public timeline began to narrow. The two were captured inside the building, heading further in. After that, Grace was never seen alive again. By the next morning, the ordinariness of the night had already started to disappear. Grace stopped responding to the people who expected to hear from her. At first, that might not sound unusual. Travelers often go quiet for a few hours. But as time passed, the silence became harder and harder to explain. Back in England, her family began to worry when they could no longer reach her. What should have been a simple check-in was turning into something much darker. Police in New Zealand soon began reconstructing Grace's final known movements. Investigators pulled together CCTV footage, hotel records, digital activity, and witness timelines. And almost immediately, the case became far more serious than a routine missing persons report. Because the man Grace had been with did not call for help, and he did not report an emergency. As police pieced together the evidence, the story of that night began to look much more deliberate. What followed was a major investigation that quickly drew public and media attention across New Zealand. Days later, Grace's body was found, confirming the outcome her family had feared most. The case went to trial, where prosecutors argued that this was not an accident, but a murder followed by a cover-up. In 2019, Jesse Shane Kempson was found guilty of murdering Grace Millane and later sentenced to life imprisonment. And that is what makes this case so haunting, not how strange it was, but how ordinary it looked until it was too late.
If you love this video or you love true crime stories, like, subscribe and follow this page for more.